Hey, everybody. Welcome to KISS.
Keep it simple, sister.
Hi, Diana.
Hi, Samantha. Did you forget you were supposed to go first and I was supposed to go second?
No,
That's okay. We're trying to get into back into the swing, aren't we?
out of the ballpark. We're getting there. This has been fun, guys. We're a little rusty because it's been a while, but we're gonna get
Yes. And
smooth. Er.
smoother.
Oh my God, there's the teacher and Diana.
er.
Yeah.
Yes.
Er.
Well, smooth.
Okay. So, welcome to our podcast. This is all about feeling great by feeling better. And so it's all about the incremental changes that you can add into your life, the little tips, tricks, and techniques, and even the products that Diana and I want to share with you that we have picked up throughout our many, many years. And that we have cultivated kind of, used what works for us, even if it's just pieces of concepts, ideas, or a product here and there, whatever it is. And we've integrated it into our lives so that we can kind of move through the ups and downs of life. It's not that we don't go through them, because God knows we do, but it helps kind of even things out, smooth it out, makes it a far more enjoyable, pleasant experience, even when we're hitting the lows. So that's what we want to share with you on this podcast.
Well, and I'd like to think that I am an upbeat, optimistic person all the time, my energy level is pretty high usually. But
Mhm.
when it smacks you in the head, it smacks you in the head, and you have to kind of regroup. And so that's kind of what our whole purpose is in doing this podcast is to help with the ways that we can regroup. And hopefully
Exactly.
it's something that you can build into your life and your being to help it run a little bit more smoothly. And hopefully the lows aren't as low as they would be and the highs are a little bit higher.
Hmm. I like that. Do you want to introduce the flip side?
Yes. So I almost forgot what it was because we have not been together in like almost a month,
Uh-huh.
which we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But the flip side is when something slaps you in the head, or it's just challenging, it's a little bit contrasty, it's a little bit, you could look at it as something negative, but it's the way that we try and flip it around to see something positive or something that we can learn from it, or things that are unexpected because of this sort of negative thing happening.
Yeah.
Did I
Yeah.
cover it?
Yeah. So we're showing you that we're walking our talk essentially, that we're applying the things that we've learned into the situations that are coming up for us in life and saying, look, see, it works.
Yeah.
So what have you had going on with
Well, I mean, there's a whole lot going on. We're a month in, and I'm not sure if when we last spoke, I thought my husband was having another stroke, but it wasn't a stroke, and he ended up in rehab, and he has Parkinson's, or he's having Parkinson's symptoms.
Mhm.
So my flip side goes with that because, of course, I didn't expect that. I don't like it. I
Yeah,
don't
left
want it to
field.
happen.
Really. Yeah.
It smacked me, and it sucks. It's terrible. Um, so my flip side was yesterday. I'm thinking about down the road what will be good to help me have some backup, have um some help when I need the help to help him.
Mhm.
And so I was driving home from this healthy living, not healthy living, but it's like the community is like it's not it's a retirement community, but it's more
Step down community?
say it again.
Step down community or step up community? I don't know how you say
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, it's independent living, and then if you need some extra support or help, yeah, it's kind of a step up, or I don't know if it's step up or step down, whatever. I called my daughter and I was telling her about how upset I was about it. Like it's just it's hard because you never. We're all going to get older, and I think of myself as 27 in my head, but I know I'm 59. I just turned 59, and that's old. I mean, like I never I mean, not old, but it's
Yeah.
relatively old. Like we're halfway through our lives or more.
Mhm.
Um, and you never want to think about getting older, getting sicker, getting, needing help, needing support, whatever, not being able to take care of yourself as well as you want to. And
Yeah.
so I was telling my daughter, and I was like, both Samantha and I have had a lot of things in our lives that have been very challenging. And I said to her, I'm just sick of this. I'm so sick of thing after thing after thing after thing. And then I started crying, and then she started crying. We all started crying. But it was almost like a bell went off, and I was like, hold on, wait a minute. We're healthy. Both my daughters and I are healthy. We live in a lovely home. We have enough money to do what we need to do to take care of these issues. I need to focus on that stuff. I need to focus on what we have, not what's being taken away.
That's
So,
powerful.
well, and it really was. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what we talk about in the flip side all the time, but it's in a big situation. Like, like this is an ongoing, but lots and lots of change kind of situation, which nobody's ever comfortable with change. But
Yeah,
you got to look at the good part of the change. Like, what are going to be the good things that come out of this?
exactly.
That was my flip. That
Yeah,
flipped it.
that flipped it. Yeah, and that's pretty amazing. And again, because
Yeah.
have gratitude, count your blessings, and the fear, the sadness, the whatever, it can't live in that same space.
Right,
That's
right.
just
Faith
awesome.
and fear cannot coexist. So I have to have faith that this is going to be okay.
Hmm.
Going to be all right.
Yep, that's cool.
Has to be.
So,
Yes.
uh,
What's yours?
my flip side, um, I'm keeping it, I think, super brief here. But m- I guess my husband's been just kind of going through a thing, and for many, 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 many moons, um, putting it lightly. And it's just kind of like, frustration. He's got diabetes. There's frustration just trying to manage that. And like, uh 1 to 2 times a week, like it would dip super low, and that just fries his system. And then it's like, how does he get up and go to work and like manage and stuff? It's been super challenging, and it's like having your body turn on you, and
Yeah.
it just pisses you off and
Mhm.
makes you frustrated with the world. And so he's been, you know, living in this space of just, I just don't care. I just don't care. Like he's still doing his best to manage, but it's like no matter what he was doing. And so of course that mood, that feeling, that attitude was bleeding over into every other aspect, of his life, meaning relationship, family, all of that. And when I look at the whole picture, I'm just like, it's amazing. Anybody who's dealing with chronic pain, chronic, just that frustration, it's so debilitating in life. And so, he had really adopted that attitude of I just don't care. Well, then through an amazing series of just like too much sun exposure and the foods that were being eaten and not being able to get doses of his insulin at the right time, and like all of this happening all over the period of a couple of days, he goes into ketoacidosis, which is a major no-no. Like it's really bad. And anyway, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about timing and synchronicity about all of this instance, and how Diana fits in with all of this as well. But as far as our personal experience, um, you would sit there and just go, "Oh, holy crap!" Like his numbers, like kidney levels, all that stuff was just maxed out. Like everything was so bad. And they're like, if we had waited a day, he would have been in a serious, serious condition. This was serious, and he was in ICU, but it could have been worse. But anyway, and I think his whole body, like it was hell what he was going through. Like his whole body had turned on him, and just it was awful feeling. But there's that thing where you come out of an experience like that, and you just go, "Huh." It's not. It's not that someday you're going to die. It's how you're going to live until the day you die. And he realized that was not a comfortable experience. not one that he wants to repeat. And that there, yes, you have a choice. Do you want to take care of it? Do you want to address it? Or do you want to just throw up your hands? And what was really cool is, I kept telling him, how you're like the town crier and you say, maybe there's someone out there that can give you a bit of guidance. Maybe there's something you're missing here. Well, he'd been missing a
Yeah.
whole chunk of information about how to handle his diabetes. And like they taught him a totally different approach that has literally changed. Like, I mean, yes, he drops, but he's able to catch it. And when he's dropping, it tends to be during the day. And so he's aware of it. Just like all these little nuances of when and how he takes it. And so it was such a blessing because he wouldn't do it otherwise that he ended up in the emergency room, able to get this information. And so it's not just the choice of, I'm going to live healthier, but it's, okay, now I see a way to live healthier. And so
Right.
that was like the
Direction.
complete flip side there. Like it's just night and day. So yes, I can be grateful that we have all these medical bills now from him going into the ICU because it's resulting in a much, much better place of existence, I guess. Yeah.
A much better way of life.
Hmm.
Well, and I think eventually we're going to come out on the other side like that, because ultimately you can see that even though it felt like a negative thing,
Yeah.
because of what the information that you got, it was really a positive thing. And the timing, was divine. That's when it was supposed to happen. And there's a reason.
Yeah. Well, and like you sit there with people that you love, around you, especially you and I, we're given so much information that is so useful for people. And you try to tell your family members, they don't hear it. They never hear it. And if that was the only way he could hear it, well, that was the way he had to hear it. You want to know
Yeah.
how it feels to feel bad? We're going to make you feel really bad. And then you're going to figure this, shit out. But like my son, like the other day, he started to express to me something about gut health and like how listened to this guy who said, "Oh, no, 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 no. That was another one about gut health. No, but what I was thinking of is when, no, actually, Rob had said to me, I just read this thing about this guy saying that, like your gut is like they've learned your gut is your second or your real brain, brain center or whatever." And I'm sitting there going, I never,
I think I heard that out of my mouth sometime 75 times.
I love that. I heard that out of my mouth. My God, that's so funny. And all you can do is just go, mm-hmm. Nobody ever listens to those that are closest to them. And I don't know why, but it is what it is, right? You just keep,
Well, and I've started enacting the others that they will listen to. I mean, it's because the same kind of thing is happening with my husband. Like we're going to talk about MorVida in a little bit, but I've been for months and months and months and months, I've been telling him how helpful it would be for him. And he don't want to hear it. But if his doctor said that, oh, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. N-
yeah.
They won't
Well,
listen to us.
and
And we
maybe
know
that's
things.
and that's partly why we do the podcast, because we're hoping that these people out here who we're not seeing them shake their head or go, yeah, I'm not interested. We're just putting it out there. And it's there for
Mhm.
you to receive or not. It resonates with you or it doesn't, depending on where you are.
And timing is important. Like
Mhm.
Rob was able to hear that because of the experience that he just had. The timing was right for him to assimilate it and start using it.
Yep.
And there was your SAT word of the day,
Assimilate.
assimilate.
Um, I want to go ahead and go into our sponsorship since we brought it up. Okay.
Yes.
So we can't keep bringing you these uplifting, insightful tips, tricks, and techniques on how to navigate your way to a healthier, happier life without the help from our sponsors.
Us. Us.
It is us. We sponsor ourselves. So we're
Yes,
going
we
to
do.
talk about the Moringa, MorVida Moringa nutritional drink. So Moringa is renowned for its numerous health benefits. Just one little packet has oodles of nutrients, making it a superfood. Honestly, it's almost all the stuff. Seriously, people.
All the
Moringa has
things.
been touting its health benefits for over 3,000 years. Talk about timeless goodness. Mm-hmm. From boosting immunity and improving gut health to rocketing antioxidants, this green guru is the ultimate green juice. Say bye bye to sluggish vibes, and we really mean that. And a hello to a moringa powered zest for life. Okay, so Diana, um, can you share with us how, like, some of the things that you really like about it?
Well, I like its taste, and I know that Samantha has used other moringa things that taste kind of like dirt and grass. This tastes like fruit juice, and it's delicious. So I would not seriously would not drink the dirt grass
Hmm.
powder drink. I just wouldn't be able to choke it down. This is really good. It tastes good. But the thing that I like most about it for me is that I don't eat vegetables. I'm not a vegetable person.
Hmm.
And so I get all my vitamins and aminos and protein and calcium and B vitamins and all the goodness
Hmm.
is in here. So yes, it would be nice if I ate some vegetables, and I might sometime, but I don't feel like I have to, because I feel like this is giving me a lot of that.
Well,
That's the biggest thing.
yeah, and you couldn't possibly eat all the foods that amount to what a single serving of this provides. You just couldn't.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
No.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
you just mix it with water. It's powder.
there you go. If you want more info, we have a link in the description below. So just tap on it, choose to purchase products, select, I want to know how Moringa can improve my overall health. And then whatever else applies to you, because there's several different selections you can choose from. You will be sent a plethora of info, SAT word, regarding moringa and its many nutritional benefits. And you can even go ahead and order it right then, knowing you have a backup of a 30-day, no questions asked money back guarantee. So, how does it get any better than this?
It doesn't, people. It doesn't. And that's why we sponsor ourselves with it.
Mhm. Because we think it's that amazing, and you need to know about it. You need to know it
I
exists.
will never go a day without it. I will never go a day without
Never.
it.
I agree.
And I don't feel that strongly about things. I used to think that about ice cream, but I don't even crave ice cream anymore. I don't know what this stuff does, but I don't have those cravings anymore.
Well, it's just gotten us out of, I don't know, off the sugar. I don't know. It's
Maybe
crazy.
it's the calcium and the vitamin D that I was craving in the ice cream.
Yeah, tell yourself
Um,
that.
and now I'm getting the calcium and the vitamin D in the nutritional supplement. I don't know, but I don't have those cravings anymore.
Okay, so
I
our
don't know about
topic
that.
today for the positive path, um, which is very apt for Diana and myself. We just kind of come up with these ideas right before what- right before we get into our podcast, and we look at what's happened over the week, well, over the month, and just go, what's been the driving force? What's the driving message? What do we want to express to people that we've been dealing with? Maybe they've been dealing with it. And so our topic this month is, why worry?
Well, and you can see from our flip sides that we've had some things to worry about over this month. And that's why it's been so crazy. And we haven't been able to record podcasts because you've had a lot going on. I've had a lot going on. But
Can I
why
set the
worry?
scenario? Is it okay for me to
Yes, please.
okay, so because I'm gonna go a little woo-woo here. Okay. Woo-woo light.
Please go ahead. That's why we're here.
So the last time Diana and I recorded was actually in March of 2024. And we had these grand plans that I was driving up, we got together, and there were these grand plans that we were going to podcast while I was up there. So the two of us are together in her office, or maybe we would do it from the hotel room or whatever. And there was worldwide, you could say astrologically, or ascension wise, or however you want to say it. There was a period of what it was, a lunar eclipse, and there was the solar eclipse, but there was also some gates, some, I don't know, there were all these wacky things happening. Okay. And whatever all of this was, it was occurring over when we were getting together, our birthdays, and also so the idea was I would get back home. Like we couldn't find time to do the podcast, and I'm trying to shorten this. We couldn't find time to do the podcast. I get home and it's like, okay, I'm in a rush to get things done because I'm going to turn around and go back out of town in a week and a half. So we want to get a podcast done in between. There's not the time. I don't think, no, we couldn't make the time. And we go through this weekend. And this is right before the solar eclipse. We go through this weekend of all this stuff kind of happening. And I remember we weren't really in touch with each other. And then I think it was that Tuesday after the solar eclipse that I finally reached out to you and I said, "Hey, what's up?" Because I was going to tell you that Rob and I were on our way to the hospital. And you're like, "You're on your way to the hospital with Wedge." We were literally
Yes,
both going to the emergency room at the same time.
it's crazy.
The day after the full eclipse, like, it's nuts. It's completely nuts. Did you realize that was the
Well,
day
and it's
after? Like,
I forgot all about that with everything else that's gone down since then. But it's really shocking and strange how attuned we are to each other and how things kind of happen in a parallel way between the two of us. But anyway, so it affected us both equally. Neither one of us could even, because I had said, I'll jump on and I'll just do a little live something while you're on vacation. And I couldn't. I didn't. I wouldn't. I couldn't. And you said, I'm going to go ahead and we have a few of these that we've already recorded. I'm going to get them out there. And you couldn't, you wouldn't, you can't. So hopefully we're in May now, just so you guys have a time frame. And we have
it's been 6
three
weeks.
podcasts
Yeah. 3
that are going to
podcasts
come
again.
out before this one. So God knows what day or month it'll be by the time you see this. But just know we had good intentions. It just didn't work out that way.
Well, and so, the big lesson that we've experienced through all of this is that, like, we had an idea of what our time was going to be like when I went up to see Diana. It was both of our 59th birthdays. For those of you who don't know, we were born 2 days apart the same year, different mothers. Well, I guess that would be the case.
And states and
Poor
stuff.
mother should be in like labor for 2 days.
Poor thing. Yes.
But so we were going to Dallas, we were going to do this fun stuff. We were like we had all of these things in mind. And it's like we were thrown poo. Like, it's just like, no, you won't. No, you won't. You
No,
think that?
no, you
No.
won't.
It was just, and we're just trying to duck, dodge, and make the best of it all the way through. And I remember, I will admit to this, it was for Diana's birthday, when I lost my shit. I literally had a meltdown, a complete and total 100% in the hotel room. And I felt so bad for Diana because I never do that in front of, well, I haven't had that happen. I have not had a meltdown like that in I don't know how many years. But it was
Yeah.
full fledged, and Diana's just like, she's busy doing her thing, going, "It's okay. You go do what you got to do." And we're in a hotel room. There's like no space, and I'm like pacing back and forth, flopping on the bed, just going, "Why? Why is this happening?" Like it was, and that was not part of our plan. You know,
Not at all, but I think the good thing is that we both didn't have a meltdown at exactly the same time, and that kind of is that's one of the ways that we support each other, I think.
well, and you started to have a little bit of, just like what the fuck, when we were at the airport, because your idea was it
Yeah,
was your birthday. We were traveling on your flippin' birthday, and you're like, we'll go
and we
drink
were
at
gonna
all the
have fun, and
bars.
it
We'll
was
have
not
fun.
fun.
No, no, it was
No
not fun
fun
at all.
whatsoever.
And, you know, like the impression that I wanted to try to get across to people as we talk about this stuff is that you sit there with your best intentions and you think you know how life's going to work out. And, we talk about fear. Well, no, it's not the fear factor. Let me go to what BB says, the collective that I channel. And they said that we live in a false projection of the future. you know, and that, we live in this when we project this future out, we always make it super negative. Well, Diana and I do
Worry.
our huh? By worrying?
Worry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by worrying. And you and I try to project positivity, right? We try to go, hey, it's all going to work out. It's going to be fine. Um, which just means that in the moment, like when okay, first off, you don't know what the hell's going to happen. If a bus is going to come out, if you're going to be handed $1 million, you have no idea. And so, yes, we dip into the worry for a little bit, but we try to live with that whole it'll be okay. It's going to work out. It's going to be fine. And we don't sit there and stew. You know that the kind of people who stew in the worry? My mom's one of those people.
Well, and that's what I was doing for my flip side. I was stewing. That made me cry. That made me, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if, what if, what if? And if you can wipe out the what if and just go with it as best you can. It's
Yeah.
impossible to do it all the time. And it's impossible to consistently not worry. But what we have to remember is 99% of the things that we worry about never come to pass,
Things never show
right?
up
Because we
the way
don't
we
know.
think. Yeah.
Right. We think it's going to be this, this, and this, and it never is exactly what you think it's going to be.
Well, like, okay, so tell me this. Like when in your experience going to the emergency room, how deep into the worry did you get? How much were you stewing? How
Well,
high was that boil?
I I was simmering. I
Uh-huh.
simmered. Um because and I think part of it was because we had been there twice already in this same situation. Where
Stop.
the very
Hold on. That right there that you're saying is important for everyone to understand that part of what fear is of the unknown because it's uncharted. And so
right.
right there you were like that that makes a difference. Exposure to negative events is actually helpful. Sorry, I just wanted to point.
Well, and what I was going to say, no, no, no. But what I was going to say is the first time we went to the emergency room and I had no idea what was going on, I worried, 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 worried because I had no point of reference.
Mhm.
This time I felt a little bit better because I had a point of reference and I knew the progression of, okay, well, we think it's a stroke. So they're going to do a CT scan, they're going to do an MRI, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And this time Annie was with me. The other times I didn't have anybody with me to be able to talk and hear what was coming in and be able to bounce it off of. And I think that if you don't discuss those worries or those things, it can build up farther and farther. So one of the techniques, and it doesn't work for everybody, but I talk and I talk and I talk. But as I'm talking, I get epiphanies. I get little nudges of, okay, wait a minute. I didn't think about that until I just said this to Sam.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that until she said this back.
Yeah.
So one of the things that works for me is to talk it out. But if you're not that person, if you don't want to share all your business with whoever,
Mhm.
hopefully you have a trusted confidant like Samantha is for me, or your sister or your mother or your brother, whoever, your
Yeah.
best friend. Hopefully you have at least that person. But I also have been in a position where I wrote it down instead of saying it out loud, and
Ah.
sometimes just getting it out of you
Mhm.
on paper or saying it out loud or even recording it in your phone, whatever you have to say, pretend like you're talking to somebody and say your thing and then listen to it back.
You could tap.
Yeah, you
You could
could
tap it
tap.
up.
Um, it gets it out, and then you don't have the chance to ramp it up. Because I feel like that's what worry does for me.
Yeah, you just made me think of something that a lot of people they keep these things to themselves because they and I'm not saying, hey, folks, this is negative. It's just not beneficial to your health, but people will
Mhm.
hold it back because when you begin to voice this stuff, it takes the power of the emotion out of it. It simplifies it. It makes the mountain become the molehill. Now, here's the thing though, a lot of people they like the secondary benefit of the drama. They don't like being in the emergency room, but the story,
Mm.
the thing that they can tell
Right.
people. And it's like the moment you tell it, that it lessens. People just go, oh, well, so it was just this. And you're like, no, because my emotions were all over. It's like we so much want to live in the hyperness of those emotions. We had an emotional experience. What is it in
But it's not healthy. It's
couples?
not healthy for
In couples retreat, Vince Vaughn, he swears that he gets bit by a shark and it brushed up against him, but he swears it, and they're just like, it was just a shark. It was just a barely a little nibble. And he goes, I know my truth. So we always joke and say, I know my truth. Um, but it is important to let it out unless you want this to be a point that becomes an anchor in your life that justifies, a fearful situation. And then what do? You root yourself in the fear of having to go to the hospital, the fear of dying, the fear of blah blah, whatever it is that you want to create from it. It's better to do those discussions, to talk, to air it out. Um, I think another point of what you just said that I think is beneficial to people that I want them to hear is that, like, I love how you said to talk it out, but try not to be so prideful as to not invite a friend. Like, people often say, I'll go to the hospital with you. And you're just like, no, 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 I don't want you to hang around. You know,
no, take the people.
yeah, because you're not here. Like in a reading, people don't hear what I say the
Because
first time, you know, and it's like if you can listen back to it again, or if you have a confidant, a friend, someone who can say, that's not what the doctor said. The doctor said something totally different.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, I didn't hear, because you're hearing it from a place of fear, right?
Right. And it's not helpful.
Mm-mm.
If you didn't hear it correctly, then you're proceeding on a perception of something that wasn't real.
Exactly. Oh, I just love this.
False evidence appearing real, the
Uh-huh.
fear. And you have to practice. I think you have to practice. This is another one of those skills that you have to just practice it,
Yeah.
and practice it about the little things before you have to do it with the big things.
Okay. Well, and one of those examples that just came into mind is, if if you're a parent, and you have kids living at home that are driving, like maybe they've come to live back home, they're living with you because of college or whatever it is, and
Mhm.
they go out to meet their friends at night, or they go out to a bar at night, and you sit there and just go, oh my God, I hope they come back safe. I hope that they're making sure that they've had a lot of water to drink. I hope that, I hope. And we're sitting there the whole time, that whole evening, like, just we're stewing in the worry. And how many times does something actually go wrong? I mean, we're not talking about
Rarely.
going wrong like their feelings are hurt or,
Yeah.
whatever, but that something truly serious happens.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
and
not,
your worries, hopefully, hopefully you have talked to them about all these things that you're worried about, but we don't trust that they're hearing it.
yeah.
Sometimes they don't hear it, but
Well,
you
but
know,
but it's also their life too. They get to,
right.
it's just that we as moms, I think some of our worry comes from, we know that we're going to have to go in and clean up the mess, you know? And so if you would just not, like, my son always puts his water glass on the side of the counter. Now it's just water, thank God. If it was like Mountain Dew, I would deck him. But it's like, why put
Mhm.
it on the edge of the counter? Because you can easily knock it off and then there's a mess. And yes, sometimes he knocks it off and there's a mess. Thankfully,
Yeah.
it's just water. But we have to go in. And so that's some of what drives, I think, our worry starts with something as simple as that, and it grows bigger because we will have to then be inconvenienced.
Well, and think about the lessons that we've learned in life are always because you made a mistake, or almost always. You know what I mean? And so if we worry and we try and protect them from every mistake that they make, they're not going to have those life lessons.
Yeah, and that's a tough one. And recently I told my son, now he's very good. He'll have someone else drive when he wants to tie one on or whatever.
Mhm.
But I have made it clear to him just because I'm like kind of going, you're an adult now, you might be living at home still, but you are an adult. And I'm like, I just want to know that I've voiced this so that I don't have to worry anymore. This is voiced now. That if you go out and if something happens where you get pulled over and taken to jail, and it could happen, I'm just like, just understand, we will not pick you up the next day. You will spend over 24 hours in jail because you need to understand you don't ever want to have that happen again. Period. He has had one get out of jail free card. And I've told his friends, each of his friends, when I've seen them, I said, and if you bail him out, just know I will call you up and I will bitch you out because he didn't think about it. He didn't listen. So, and
Yeah.
it's not that my son is super careful, but that took the worry, like I've made it clear, I'm not coming in to clean up. We're done.
Well, and you have to let the worry go or it's consuming.
Yes.
You ca
Oh, you
you
can go
you
on a
can't
trip,
have
right?
any kind of peace until you let the worry go.
Well, and so, when we talk about like, okay, maybe somebody out there is listening to this who does this. My mom is one of those people that she's almost uncomfortable to not be stewing in the worry. So, like, she'll say, "Well, how's Brody doing?" Well, mom, he's doing fine at his job. Well, when's he going to get a real job? When he's doing food and beverage? When is he going to, use the degree he got and, become a data sciences person, whatever? There's other kids coming out of school that are getting far, far ahead of him. And I'm just like, Mom, he doesn't care. That's something you're concerned about, but he's not. And it's his life. So why are you holding on to this worry? And she just sits there and so then when she sees Brody or any of the grandkids, she'll say, "Well, where do you see yourself in 5 years?" And that's her way of encouraging
Which
them
is
to
a
do it.
horrible question
Yeah,
for adults, kids, whatever.
well,
That
and that's
is
the
such
point
a
we're making here is that, like, you don't know where you're going to be in 5 years. It doesn't work out. No one is going to work for one of the gold standard companies and have your retirement where, well, in 5 years, we will actually own our home. And in another 5 years, we will have an RV and a pool, and we will be taking trips to Europe. Like, it's not like that anymore. And I think that that was kind of a lie. That was such a slim portion of time in human history, even that
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, where are we coming up with this stuff? So, like, get the fuck over it.
Right. Right.
There's there's Samantha's like,
Let it go.
that's
There's a
it.
song about it. Let it go.
Hmm.
Is gonna be our sweary affirmation. I don't know if we're there yet though, but we
No, we're
kinda worked
not.
that
So
in and we
we'll
liked it.
uh-huh.
Okay.
I'm just writing this down. Just okay. So I think anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think I've said my piece. Do you have anything else about worrying? I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's a natural reaction. I think it is a human reaction that
We're meant
comes
to have,
naturally to
yeah.
us that we yeah, it was back in caveman days, it's to save your life. And there's the fear, flight or fight and all of that. But physically and emotionally, mentally, whatever, it's not good for you. And we have to realize that it's hurting our health overall.
Hmm. Yep.
So we
Yep.
need to use some of
Yep.
these techniques to try and squelch it.
Well, so what we were going to suggest for the weekend wanderlust and if anyone is watching this, they know that we always do the intro for the weekly wanderlust, and I'm getting rid of that. I had to do it for a while because I had spent so much time creating it, and it looked so lovely, and so I just needed to run with it for a
It
while
was lovely.
just for my vanity. But it doesn't make sense to throw it in. So it's just easier just to tell y'all what's going on. But what we want to do for your weekly wanderlust, um, your integration portion, your challenge, what is it?
Practice.
Should
Yeah,
you,
should you choose to accept it.
yeah, that we want you to become aware in the moment. Like the moment you start feeling that worry, Like just make worry, like write it worry, the word worry down somewhere. Or, what me worry or whatever you want to do on your arm, something that's going to remind you that every time you move into that space where you start feeling the anxiety, you start feeling that worry, that you just sit there and go, okay, you know, let me sound this out, because it's coming in because there's something you need to be aware of, right? That's
Yeah.
the first thing. Like what you just said, it's there for a reason. It's a human response. Something's trying to catch your attention. So look at that and just go, okay. Then, then just go, okay, do I really know what's going to happen in the next 30 minutes, in the next hour, in the next week, in the next month? How many times have I gotten it right? Because, our track record sucks on that, thankfully.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
just say, okay, so what if everything works out? What if it's all good? You know, Move yourself into that space. Open what are the possibilities that things could just turn out terrifically?
Well,
They.
and there's a statement, how does it get any better than this?
Mhm.
If you focus on what's happening right now, and instead of how does it get any worse than this, if you focus on how does it get any better than this, there's endless possibilities of how it could be better,
Yep. And you need to
and
say it.
very few of how it can be worse, really.
Yeah, you need to say that in a
Especially,
non-sarcastic tone.
oh,
There are
was I
people. No,
being
you weren't.
sarcastic?
No, it's just that some people, how like when you say to somebody, hey, now say something positive, and they'll go, well, I positively don't like this, and you're just
Yeah.
like, okay, you missed the
I
point.
don't hang with those people. I don't know about you, but I have to walk away because I can't.
No, I had someone who was drawing blood for me today, and there was no way I could turn her from her negativity about speeders. She was talking to me. She's taking my blood, so you want to just go, as they're taking your blood, um,
Uh-huh.
and she just was so fixated on being in that negative space. So, hey, that's fine. But anyway, when you say, you know, how does it get any better than this? Like, what's out there? What could potentially happen? And move into an excitement or at least a curious tone and allow, because what
Which
is
is
it?
a lot of times easier. The curiosity part of it is a lot of times easier than the excited part of it because you don't know what to be excited about yet. But I'm curious to see what happens next.
Well, and I find that, yeah, sitting there going, well, this is pretty fucked up situation. How does it get any better than this? Okay, that's a little cynical.
And sometimes it doesn't take much.
Yes. It could just be somebody brings you water with chips of ice in it, and you just go, you know?
Bonus.
It's it's the little things, but it's the little things that, they begin to add up, and then all of a sudden,
And pay attention to them. That's the key. Pay attention to the little good things as much as you pay attention to the big bad things.
and now we're back to gratitude. It always comes back to
Yes,
gratitude.
again, bring it around town to gratitude.
We should call it, "This is the gratitude podcast," but people would just go, "Nope, click." I don't think that would catch on as
Well, it's below all the goodness. Gratitude is below all the goodness and all the good feeling and, all the good attitude. The
Yep.
attitude of gratitude.
So our spicy affirmation is let that shit go.
Let that shit go.
Doesn't that feel
And you can
good?
say it to yourself all day long. Let that shit go. And in the morning, looking in the mirror, it's going to be a great day. Let that shit go.
Oh, I like that. Where you just sit there and you're declaring, this is what will be.
Right. I'm
And
not available for any shit. I'm letting that shit go. And if the shit pops up, I don't have time for it.
mhm,
Let me look for something that's the
worthy
opposite
of
of
your
shitty. What
focus.
would that be?
Something less shitty. It all depends on being in the moment and what's less shitty, I suppose. But
Exactly. How does it get any better than this?
okay, we're wrapping this up, guys. I want to remind you that all the information you need is down below. Links. We have a blog. Please go over to the blog. That's where we put the weekly wanderlust. So we talk a little bit about, we more succinctly summarize what we've just talked about. That's over in the blog. Down below is the integration. Any products, any videos that we think, go well with this topic that might give you a chuckle, that might give you more insight, we include there. Any products that we're promoting at this time are all there. Please give them a try, support us. We greatly appreciate that. Come over to our Facebook group, which is women only, and share with us what you think of the podcast, what you're learning from the integrations. Make sure you're a member, because we do, in the past, we've done several free kinds of events that benefit our people. And if you're our people, we've got more that are coming up. And I do want to mention that starting on May 20th, I've got the 6-week clarity quest. It's a 6-week. I have now summarized and put into a very simple system. I systematized everything that I do in my personal life coaching and the spiritual life coaching that I do. And it helps
Wow,
you to
that's
become, I know, isn't that like wild? It takes you from
yes.
becoming aware of the patterns of destructive behavior that you have in your life to how you can begin to release from them, and then figure out how you get on track to get the life that you do want. So it gives you all of those tools. And it is the prerequisite in order to get into the monthly group coaching experience that I also have lined up. So a lot of stuff going on there. Did I summarize all of it?
I think so. I think we're gonna have to see you next time.
Yeah. See you next time, y'all. Bye.